Hello, everybody. This is Shifali Bagga. Sky247.net presents Not Just Cricket, and Punjab won by 54 runs. That's huge. And three straight losses for Chennai. Niall is here with me. Niall, your comments on it. Niall, we are not able to hear you.
I beg your pardon. Yeah, brilliant work from Punjab. I thought they were excellent from start to finish. And as you say, a third straight loss for Chennai is absolutely unthinkable. Really, all the Chennai fans all around the world, especially those in the stadium, will be very, very disappointed. And to put it simply, they just haven't played well. They just have not found rhythm. Tonight they bowled a little bit better, but they failed with the bat. But I think the focus and the attention should be on Punjab because they were incredible. Shikhar Dhawan played well with the bat. Liam Livingston and Jitesh Sharma played nice little cameo with the bat and in the field and in the ball. They were excellent. So they thoroughly deserved their win. Punjab gives them a second win in the tournament. And it gives Chennai, as you quite rightly pointed out, a third straight loss. Who would have thought that?
Exactly. And I really feel for the passionate Yellow Army, but can't help it. But tonight, I think it was Punjabiyan ka din, Punjabiyan di shaan vakri. We say that in Punjabi. I'm a Punjabi. Niall, can you just repeat it after me? Punjabiyan di shaan vakri. Niall will something to us in Punjabi.
Sorry, I couldn't hear. I have some connection issues. Let me come back. I'll join back. Sorry.
Okay.
You have to talk me through. You have to talk me through this slowly now. Slowly for the Irishman. Punjabia.
Di. Shan.
Dishan. Yeah.
Vakri. Now say it together. Punjabiyan di shan vakri.
Punjabiya Dishan Vakri.
Oh, yes.
TK?
Well done, Niall. Well done. Deep, you missed something. Niall को मैंने अभी पंजाबी बुलवाई है.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, but
I spend a lot of time in Mahale and Chandigarh. They're some of my favorite parts of India. So I'm happy for all the Punjab fans tonight.
Yeah, but a big loss as far as Chennai is concerned. 3 out of 3 seem to be way behind the ball right now, to be honest, and it's just crazy.
Right. What do you think went wrong for Chennai? Don't say. I hope that you will not say everything.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I think they bowled well. Obviously, the first 6 overs they got 70, 72, got to a flyer, but that's all right. They got it back. I think 180, 181 was very, very chaseable here. Only thing that helped the Punjab bowlers, all that extra spray before the game today, made sure that it wasn't too dewy. There was a little bit of dew, but it wasn't that bad. So that kind of held the Punjab bowlers. But then those initial wickets, and listen, if anyone had any doubts as far as Indian talent was concerned with 10 teams and 2 new teams and all, well, there's your validation. There is enough talent and more in India as far as domestic cricket is concerned for a 10 team IPL. Absolutely no issues with that. And today was a great example of that. Few debutants, and both of them playing a very, very important role in that victory for Punjab.
Yes, we'll be talking about the debutants and the match winners today, but let's first have a look at the match summary. All right, so what do you think, Niall?
Yeah, well, listen, I think 180
the day.
Well, 180 for 8, Punjab, good score. But I agree with Deep. I think at the halfway stage, Chennai would have been pretty happy with that. Nice to see Liam Livingston play so well and find a bit of form for his new franchise. Chris Jordan was excellent with the ball. Dwayne Pretorius has had a good tournament, and DJ Bravo was good with the ball. For Chennai, in reply, it was a pretty poor batting display. Apart from once again Shivam Dubé, who I think
Hmm.
for a big tall guy, a big tall muscular guy to have such an easy swing of the bat, it's a really sight to behold, and he is playing out of his skin actually at the moment. He is head and shoulders probably above most of his teammates with bat in hand, but they never got going. They just never got going, and that's down to Punjab's skill with the ball, but also I think there's a bit of a lack of confidence. It looks like in
Mm.
the ranks.
हम पूरी टीम की और जिन जिन प्लेयर्स ने आज परफॉर्म किया उसके बारे में डिटेल में बात करेंगे, लेकिन दीप मुझे आपसे ये पूछना है कि क्या जो ये एंटी ड्यू स्प्रे हैं वो अगर चल
Mm.
जाएं तो यू नो टेबल को टर्न कर देंगे कम्प्लीटली?
टेबल को कम मतलब टर्न तो नहीं करेंगे, मतलब कहने का मतलब ये कि एटलीस्ट थोड़ा सा आप डिफेंड करने के चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं। क्योंकि अगर
हम्म।
आप देखें इसके पहले जो हो रहा था, इट वाज लाइक विन द टॉस, यू चेज डाउन टोटल्स इररेस्पेक्टिव 180 है 200 है, इट डज नॉट मैटर, यू जस्ट चेजिंग डाउन फॉर फन। At least there has to be a good competition between bat and ball. I mean, it can't solely depend on tosses there. That'll be very very unfortunate. I mean, then you take it. I mean, you take things away from the players, right, and their skill set. So I think ये जो आज हुआ है, and if we have to go by what we've seen today, I think that's phenomenal. If we can reduce the effect of dew, dew will always have an effect in the subcontinent. It will always have an effect. But if we can reduce that effect, I think that's great for cricket.
Yeah, Nile, do you also agree? Do you think that we'll see a more balanced game then?
100%. Yeah, definitely. I think just listening to the commentators, I think they've been using the spray deep. Is that right? But they've been spraying too early. So by the time the match comes, obviously
Yes.
it's worn off. So
So Niall, what happened after the last game? Because Sri, as in Srinath, was the match referee this venue and was here last game as well. I think after the game, they all sat together and decided. And I think yesterday they came to the ground and they tested that spray at different times of the day. Because obviously you can't spray during the game; it has to be before the game, right? So they tested what time would be perfect so that you don't have UI. And I think today it was a lot later because when I
Yeah.
got into the ground around
Hmm.
4:30ish in the afternoon here, they
Hmm.
were kind of finishing up with spraying. So that guy with the spray was still around. So I think they need to find the right time, and it seems they have actually found the right time to spray.
I wish this would have happened earlier. I think this almost 10, 11
Yeah.
games have passed now. But yeah, there are durust hai, and hoping for some even exciting games after this. Let's talk about the match winners today. Let's first talk about the debutant Vaibhav. I think he played really, really well. Nile, what do you think about him?
yeah, lovely. Just found that bit of movement. You know, to come in and make your debut, full 25,000, obviously, 25% capacity. 14 dollars, two for. He would have just been wishing last night, I'm going to make my debut. Just give me one wicket. Give me one wicket. Even if I get carted around the ground, I want a wicket in this competition. And bowled nicely. It's so good when you come in and settle in and you find your groove early on in your first game and you get confidence from that. And he looked like, Deep probably knows him a lot better than myself, but he looks quite an accomplished cricketer. Looks like he knows what he's doing. He didn't look overawed by the
Hmm.
situation, which sometimes when you go into a big game like this, you can be, a little bit starstruck, a little bit nervous. But he looked quite composed, Deep.
Yes,
Yeah,
and he took
absolutely. And
one.
also, Shifari, just to add to that, what Niall
Hmm.
mentioned, the first ball he bowled went for a four. Right? He bowled Robin Uthappa that in swinger and went for a four. But also, I mean, you could see that he's got the skill set. He has the ability to move the ball both sides, both ways. And also, I mean, the big thing at this level, what you're also trying to see, what Niall mentioned, the temperament, whether you have the temperament to play against the top players, not just against them, but also with them. Because a lot of pressure, you have a lot of pressure when you play with big names like they have in that Punjab camp, right? So and
Mhm.
it's quite obvious that he's got that temperament. I think wicket in that first over and that to Robin Uthappa, I think was kind of that confidence boost that he needed.
And then Moeen Ali as well.
And after that, obviously Moeen Ali, but that first over, the wicket in the first over does help.
Yes. Okay, talking about Livingstone now, he 60 runs on 32 balls. That's also, I think, a win-win situation he has put in. Um, his team
Hmm.
has obviously, we think that, benefited from his performance, especially. Nile.
Yeah, well, listen, he's been doing it for 2 years, So the fact that he had a couple of quiet games in the first couple of games of Punjab, it wouldn't have worried him. Knowing Liam like I do, he's a very confident lad. He backs his ability, and you can actually see that today. He comes out and he swings Chris Jordan away over leg side for six, maybe first ball, second ball, or very early in his innings. So a nice performance, a very nice performance for Liam, going to his new
Yeah.
franchise. You know, you look at four biggies out of the ground, and strike rate of 187. We're used to that over in this part of the world. I know people in India probably haven't seen it a great deal yet. When he played for Rajasthan, I think he only played 7 or 8 games for Rajasthan in his 2 or 3 seasons with them. He went home once
Hmm.
because of quarantine, and he got injured once, and he went home to play red ball cricket. So actually, I think when his numbers come up on the screen when he walks in a bat, strike rate of 125 in the tournament, it doesn't really do him justice. So I've no doubt he'll have a great tournament. He bashes the ball, and he bowled well today. He's a very
Yes.
handy, sixth bowler. If it's his day, he can bowl 4 overs. If not, he can bowl you one or two. Cost a lot of money, so there was always going to be attention on his performance, good or bad. But I think today he showed the owners of Punjab exactly what he can do.
Hmm.
Yes, whatever he touched today turned gold. Deep, you were saying
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. The other important thing you've got to understand that there are these impact players like Liam Livingston is, right? They might not be as consistent as some of the other players, right? Because they play a high risk, high benefit kind of a game. So from that perspective, you got to understand that he might not be consistent, but the day that he gets runs, chances are his team's going to win. 99% of the chances team's going to win. So all he has to do is perform in maybe 3 games with the bat, and you're going to win 3 games. All you need to do is win 8 to 9 games, right? You win 8 to 9 games, you qualify. And if one guy can win
Hmm.
you 3 games, he's done more than what you've paid for, to be honest. And
Yeah.
Yes.
that's what Liam Livingston is.
Mm.
Hmm.
Deep,
Hmm.
is that what how the franchises would look at things? When you sign a player, you say, right, you give us
Yeah.
3 games, you give us 2 games, and all of a sudden we'll piece it out enough games. So it's not necessarily at the end of the season. It's not necessarily whether he's got 500 runs. He may only have 280 runs and 9 wickets, but those runs and wickets probably have won him 3 or 4 games. Is that how the franchises look at it?
100% yes, Niall, because obviously you need those impact players, you need those match winners out there. So I mean, every 11 you would have a combination of 2 or 3 of those impact players, and then
Yeah.
your bankers. You know that they will score, like someone like a Shikhar. I not necessarily will call him an impact player, but he's a banker. On his
Yeah.
worst year, he'll give you 400 runs. But then, along with someone like him, you have a Liam Livingston, who might not get you 400 runs, but he'll give you 300. But those 300s would be predominantly in 4 games or 5 games, right? So I think it's a combination. It's like Nile, you would know this. It's like your financial portfolio, right? You have some high risk stocks and you have some normal stuff as well.
I don't have as much stock as you, I don't think.
यहाँ पे हमें म्यूचुअल फंड के स्पॉन्सर्स भी मिल जाएंगे. Okay, पैसा पैसा और आएगा. So now let's talk about Jitesh Arora. Deep, you must be very proud of him.
Very, very proud of him. Uh, because listen, I mean, he's a white ball specialist, right? I mean, he's got 300s in playing for his first class side, but all three in T20 or the 50 over format. And today again, he showed, I mean, why Punjab picked him up not only in the auction but in the playing 11 as well. 26 of 17, he came out in a situation where they had lost 2 quick wickets. I mean, both of them were new at the crease, Jitesh and Shah Rukh Khan. And
Hmm.
obviously, I mean, Shah Rukh Khan obviously wanted to bat till the end and take it deep. So at that point in time, he had to do the bulk of scoring or take those risks, which he did, and he did fabulously well. And not just his batting, his keeping that catch down leg side of
Yeah.
MSD, that was absolutely fabulous. So yeah, extremely happy for him. He's been out there waiting for his opportunity, and I'm so glad that he's grabbed when he's got it.
Yes, and the catch, Nile, to dismiss Raidu was a superb catch by Jitesh Sharma.
Yeah, he had a cracking game actually. Lovely when you like deep did before the game. You talk up a player and they perform for you because it makes your stature as a commentator and presenter and a figurehead on the TV etc. even better. So deep, well done. I was very impressed. I thought he was excellent. I enjoyed his keeping. I enjoyed his energy, his enthusiasm. He knew MSD got a little tickle on that one down leg side. Didn't even wait for the skipper, just send it upstairs. That's going to be out. And he'll be absolutely thrilled to bits. And actually, it's quite nice. It's quite nice for the side now to have that option up their sleeve. They know they've got a bloke who can come in the back end, finishing
Hmm.
innings, and also they've got another gloveman.
Hmm. Okay. Now let's talk about Punjab's performance as into the death overs. Do you think, Deep, that the Punjab really need to pace their innings better?
Uh, I won't say so for a couple of reasons. Obviously, again, someone like Odin Smith and all, they're hit and miss. I mean, more often than not, he's still work in progress. Odin Smith is very early in his T20 career, so obviously he's going to learn from all these experiences. He's got potential or talent in abundance. So there's absolutely no two ways about it. But yeah, someone like him, he'll get better. Shahrukh obviously wanted to back till the end, but it didn't work out because listen, the kind of game that they play, it's like I mentioned, it's high risk, high reward kind of a game. So some days it'll come good and some days it won't. So I mean the idea with again with T20 is going back to that, to find consistency is very, very tough. All you
Hmm.
need to do is have good 9 to 10 games out of 14. You will more often than not, out of those 10 good games, you'll win 8 games, right? And you'll
Yes.
kind of eke out one game where you're not at your 100%. So the idea is to have that consistency in your philosophy, what you want to do, because if you keep changing, then obviously everyone's in, everyone's confused as in what is it that you want us to do. So I
Hmm.
see a clarity of thought in that Punjab dressing room, in that dugout, and that's what you need, and you have that talent. So you have that talent, you have that philosophy, chances are you'll fire more often than not.
एब्सोल्युटली। चलिए अब आगे बढ़ते हैं और हमारे स्पेशल सेगमेंट सोशल ट्रैकर पर नजर डालते हैं। Let's have a look at the first tweet on the homegrown talent. This is by Harsha Bhogle. Two impressive young men in Punjab today. Jitesh Sharma from Vidarbha and now Vaibhav Arora from Himachal. Talent coming from everywhere. That's true.
Yeah, and
That's,
and listen, sorry,
yeah.
just to quickly talk about it, Vidarbha has been a Ranji Trophy winner. So listen,
Hmm.
there is enough talent coming out of Vidarbha. Let me tell you that. I mean, you don't win Ranji Trophy if you don't have talented players there.
Of
So
course.
and Himachal had a fantastic white ball season. Both Syed Mushtaq Ali, Mijh Hazare this season. Rishi Dhawan's there. He's not part of, I mean, he's part of the team, but he wasn't there in the dugout. So you have enough good talent coming out of these two places, and not just these two places, all over the country, to be honest. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Next tweet. All right.
Mm, this was beautiful. This was
Yeah.
vintage MSD. Just reading the game. I thought Chris Jordan did really well. Actually, it was a great bit of work from
Mm.
Oh,
Chris Jordan.
acrobatics.
Um, and then MSD, who you know, he's one of the great collectors of a ball. It might sound a bit of a random thing to say, but as a keeper, to be able to collect the ball, when it's thrown in a different area and scoop the ball up when you're on the move, we see a lot of keepers make a mess of that, and he makes it look very easy. I think Chris Jordan really helped him out. It was a perfectly
Mm.
thrown, lovely
And
bounce. MSD
and
presence of mind to get there, get it onto the stumps. And how many times he's seen it? He's done that for 15 years.
yeah, and
Yeah,
and let me say this, and Niall will agree, is you that's what you training for, right? As in you want your gloves to be an extension of your hand. You want your gloves to be your hand, right? And when it comes to MSC, it seems like there is no difference. It's like as good as catching with his hands without a gloves. The kind of gathering that he has, as Ryan mentioned. collector of the ball, as he's put it. I mean, it just seems like his gloves and his palm are the same.
Hmm. Okay, let's look at the last tweet. Oh my God, this was a 108-meter six. I think
Yeah,
अब आठ
it,
दे देना चाहिए. Do you think? Do you think so?
I think so. I honestly think any six beyond 100 meters should be an eight. It should.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If you hit it that long, it's just unfair, isn't it?
that was a massive hit. But Liam Livingston is, he hit one out of the ground here, and I think it was Trent Bridge 2 seasons ago. He hit one out of the stadium. So I know the grounds in England probably aren't the biggest, but when you hit one over the stand and it goes onto the main road, you can hit a big ball. This is a bloke that who for one of my old clubs up in Cheshire. I'll name dropped him, Nantwich Cricket Club. He got 300 and I think it was 340 in a 40 over match.
Hmm.
So this guy can hit a clean ball.
I,
Brother
listen,
can also hit big that,
yeah,
And
yeah,
once,
yeah,
yeah.
fair enough. But I'm just thinking about Raidu right now, right? He was batting on what, 30 when Raidu dropped that sitter. Could have
He had
been
a
a
bad
different
day.
game. This.
Raidu had a bad day. He had a bad day at the office. That was literally. I'm trying to teach my son who's 3.5 now cricket, and even my son has taken those catches.
दीप अभी आपने बोला ना दैट 8 रन मिल जाने चाहिए अगर इतना बड़ा छक्का हो तो और वैसे ही
हाँ.
युजवेंद्र चहल ने भी ये बोला कि अगर 3 डॉट बॉल हो जाए तो एक विकेट मिल जानी चाहिए.
तो उसे ये बोलना चाहिए कि यूजी आप जाके बेसबॉल खेलो, क्रिकेट में ऐसा नहीं होता, बेसबॉल में 3 बार बीट हो जाओ तो आउट हो जाता है, लेकिन क्रिकेट में नहीं होता. वो गलत स्पोर्ट के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं.
आई थिंक bowlers पर्सपेक्टिव के हिसाब से
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, I mean, jokes apart, जो यूजी कह रहा है, we can understand. I mean, this format, obviously, yeah, and these venues, I mean, every game seems to be a 180, 200 game. I mean, you got to, yeah, I mean, we do understand what the bowlers are going through. There's absolutely no two ways. But then, obviously, I mean, see, the parameters have also changed, right? Earlier on, let's say 7 years ago, 8 years ago, we would say economy of eight was too high, but nowadays we say eight. Oh, that's good bowling. He's got a good economy rate. If he's, I mean, if he's a seamer and bowls in the first six and the last four, eight, forget eight, even nine, 9.5, we'll say, oh, he's a good bowler. So I think the way we look at numbers are also changing because we do realize that it's not easy for the bowlers, especially this format.
Hmm. Hmm. And I was in Nepal today, and I was talking to a Nepali player. He is the captain of Nepal cricket team, and he told me, um, वो चाहते हैं कि फ्री हिट ही हटा दी जाए. Sandeep said that, and
Uh,
there are a lot of demands. जो
Free hit. He wants to. As in Sandeep, you're talking about Sandeep Lamishan, right?
yes,
So
yes,
Sandeep mentioned that he wants to get rid of the free hit. Come
yeah.
on. I mean, I don't know. I'd say introduce speed even in Test cricket. I'd say.
He's a spinner. Well, he's a spinner. What's he even worrying about? Come on, Sandeep. You're better than that, buddy. Keep your foot behind the line. Don't worry about it.
All right, all right. Okay, okay. Let's move ahead, and we have our. Let's just. This was our, very nice and interesting segment, social tracker. All right, now let's have a look at numbers tracker. Okay, now let's have a look at the points table first. Chennai at the bottom. Let me look at. चेन्नई के फैंस को भी धक्का लगा होगा बहुत तगड़ा.
बहुत तगड़ा धक्का लगा because the problem is this कि आप ना I mean खासकर आज के मैच के बाद because Chennai's strongest suit is their batting, right? And if the batting also fails, then you start thinking, right? For example, they had scored 200 and that was being chased down. You'd say, you know what? Okay, never mind. At least our batting is working. But if you look over the last 3 games, the bowling seems to be a little thin. the batting hasn't fired as much as they would have wanted to, especially this game.
Hmm.
So obviously, I mean, that just, you start thinking then, because if you have one hole in the ship, it's easier to fill it up, right? But now you have multiples, and now you're trying to stop one, the others opening up. It's very, very important how they kind of look back on the last three games. And listen, there is enough experience out there, enough match winners in that dugout or that dressing room to figure things out. So be rest assured they'll bounce back, but they
Hmm.
have to. They have to really, really soon figure out what's going wrong and fix it.
Yes, yes. Of course, it will be difficult bouncing back. Nile, it's a big dent on their net run rate as well.
Yeah, a big dent. One area for me is the pace bowling. They've got a lot of guys. I know Chris Jordan was, got close to 140 today, but you look around the other sides, most sides have got someone bowling 140 plus. So I know Adam Milner's obviously out injured at the moment. He can bowl fast, but there's a little bit samey. I don't know if you agree, Deep. The attack's a little bit
Mm.
same. Look, you know, Pretorius and Bravo are basically doing exactly the same thing, and they bowl well. They bowl well today, but there's no real firepower, spearhead like when you face Lockie Ferguson. So what Gujarat have, you're facing Lockie Ferguson. He's going to bowl 145, 150 every ball, and you don't know if it's coming at your head, or you don't know if it's coming at your toes, or a slower ball. So as a batter, you're always a little bit off the pace. Whereas Bravo, Pretorius, even Chris Jordan, who bowled really well today, no one's going to really rough you up. So that's an area I think that they need to really try and kind of address. I just, and I haven't been in and around a franchise, and Deep is probably better placed to answer this, but when
Hmm.
will the pressure come? When will people in that Chennai dressing room start saying, hold on a minute, things are going horribly wrong here. We need to address this. And when will people start pointing the fingers? At the moment, they're Chennai. Everyone, a lot of love, Yellow Army, etc. But when you start losing games, you start looking around the dressing room, and there's guys on the bench not getting the game, thinking, "Well, I should be playing." And then that's when the chit chat starts, and that's when the things can really get out of control. So that's why they need to, address this run of losses ASAP.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, now let's have a look at the best performances. Deep, could you
Hmm.
take us through?
Yeah, the most runs so far, obviously, Ishan Kishan's looking at great form. Josh Butler, we are talking about the top run getters here. I mean, it's wonderful to see Shivam Dubey doing well because obviously, I mean, it's a big one, a big tournament for him because it's like a breakthrough, should be a breakthrough year. Looking at the most number of wickets, obviously Umesh Yadav. I mean, he's been bowling like a dream. 4-2-2-3 games when he's been fabulous. Rahul Chahar, well, the first game he wasn't kind of 100%, but last two games he's been bowling really well. This is only
Yeah.
heating up. This whole race for the purple cap and the orange cap, most wickets, most runs. I mean, listen, it's just the beginning of the tournament. You wait and watch. We just 11 games. We've got 59 more to go if I've got my math right. But yeah, I mean, not even one fourth through.
Hmm. All right, now let's just have a look at the next, match, and this is between Hyderabad and Lucknow. Lucknow has won one game and lost one game, and Hyderabad is looking for their first win. Nile.
Well, it seems ages ago that Hyderabad got absolutely pumped in that game down in Pune, and that was a dreadful performance. Dare I say it? It was a very bleak performance. So they'll be desperate to get back out on the park. And when you have a bad loss, sometimes the best thing actually is to get another game quick. But now they've been sitting in the hotel for like 4 or 5 days, practicing, going over videos, thinking what went wrong, how we're going to put it right. So that just kind of mounts the pressure on you. So, I don't see Hyderabad having a great campaign this year. I may be proven wrong. I've been wrong many times in the past, and I'm sure I'll be wrong many times in the future. I just don't like the look of their setup, and I don't fancy them at all. So Lucknow, Andy Flower, excellent coach. They played pretty good cricket actually in the first couple of games. I know they won one on one, but they've played some pretty good stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. It's kind of probably not as high octane game as a Chennai fixture, but it should be a good one all the same.
दीप, लखनऊ अभी पीछे चेन्नई को हरा कर आ रही है, चेस करते हुए 210 रन्स।
देखिए, लखनऊ टीम, जैसे अभी नायल ने कहा कि लखनऊ के जो स्क्वाड की अगर बात करें और हैदराबाद की अगर स्क्वाड की बात करें तो काफी फर्क है। ऑन पेपर वो दिख जाता है कि थोड़ा सा हल्का दिखता है हैदराबाद का वो स्क्वाड और प्लेइंग 11 और जितना भी खेला है, तो वो अगर हमको दिख रहा है तो फिर काफी लोगों को दिख रहा है, राइट। और वो जो काफी लोगों की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, तो वो फिर टीम के पास भी, उनके पास भी खबर जाता है, उनके कानों पे भी है। तो बहुत जरूरी है टू गेट इनटू अ मोमेंटम, क्योंकि क्या हो जाता है ना, आप अगर लगातार एक दो ऐसे मैचेस हार जाए ना, तो फिर आपके दिमाग में चलता रहता है कि यार आर वी गुड इनफ। तो उसके लिए इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हैदराबाद जो अगला मैच है वो जीते विदाउट अ शैडो ऑफ डाउट। लेकिन थोड़ा सा, जैसे नायल ने कहा, आई कंप्लीटली अग्री विद हिम, ऑन पेपर दैट for me, I think that's the weakest squad that I see on paper again. They can they can get their act together. A couple of them can have a season of a lifetime. So things can change, and that's what they need to do. They need to change it. They need to start winning ASAP. Then what we are discussing right now, will stop discussing. Then we'll be looking at performances and stuff like that. I'm not talking about, weaker side, blah blah blah. So they need everyone else. They need to shut everyone else up. For that, they need to get it together, get their heads together, right? And they've got to realize that they don't have match winners as many as some of the other teams have. All the 9 teams would have more match winners than they do, right? So they have to get it together and play as a unit, and which Hyderabad's done in the past. Hyderabad's never been known to have too many match winners. In the past, they had Bairstow, Warner, Williamson. I wouldn't call him a match winner in this format. Obviously, Rashid Khan, right? Rashid Khan. So they obviously lack those match winners this year. But if they have to win it, they'll have to get it right, get their strategy right, get the playing 11 right, and do it as a team.
Right. All right, time to go. Thank you so much, Niall. Thank you so much, Deep, for joining us. Tomorrow we'll be joining you at 6:45 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and we'll be talking about tomorrow's pre-match Hyderabad versus Lucknow, match number 12 at Diva Patil Stadium, Navi Mumbai. See you guys tomorrow on time, 6:45 p.m. Remember that. Bye bye and good night. Take care.
Bye bye. Night night.